I dreamed of a fish. The fish said that it was in the air and it does not belong there. So the fish asked me to set and asked the fisherman to let it go free in the water again. So I asked, and the fish was freed and got to swim in the lake again. And so I came to, the fish was happy, and so I came to talk with that fish quite much, and the fish was kind of amazed about how humans have gone astray. Instead of living a natural life, they kind of build things and are not so healthy with their mindset and ways as they should be, like the fishes, for example, are in the lake. And that perspective that I had in this dream about the fish, that's my usual perspective about how I see animals as having kind of wisdom of ways of living and thinking that humans many lack or have much less than the animals. Kind of like if one is more intelligent than others in thinking kind of things, then one can, when one discusses with others, one can understand their perspective and see how far they have thought things through and where they are kind of lacking, what they have left undone and where they have errors. So when one knows some person, one can at once see how much they typically think about things and kind of guess how they might see a situation. And so kind of when one associates with people, one sees them with different levels of understanding and different types of skills, and so with different perspectives to the world. And so as far as I understand the animals, at least this fish in my dream, they see humans at one glance as such that they kind of can understand how humans think and how they live and kind of what their perspective to life is. That's because the fish or the animals, birds and everything are so much healthier in their ways of living, and they live in the nature where they get lots of sensory stimulus, so that is of a healthy kind instead of the simple city landscape. So they develop much more intelligent and wise in their ways, and so instead of ending up in a conversation, they at once see how the level of understanding of the other one leads to a certain kind of life that is kind of just the reach of that understanding on how to live a good life. And then if they would have a better understanding or healthier ways of living, then they could reach higher toward good life and success and wise choices in life. But when one is more intelligent, wise, healthy in one's ways of thinking and living, then one can see the other one at a glance, and then the question is how to change the way of living of the other one toward healthier, so that one could find new answers. Because if someone is really stupid, he destroys lots of things without meaning to, without kind of seeing any better alternatives. But if one is really skilled, then one finds flourishing answers and kind of harmony and not so much distraction. So kind of the level of beauty of one's life is an exact measure of the intelligence of that one uses in making the choices of one's life. So when an intelligent fish or bird or maybe even an insect living a natural kind of life meets a human being who has kind of simplified thoughts brought by the simple score-built environment. So there's the question of how to make those ways of living healthier, and that's a kind of question which is answered by making the other one to follow healthy ways of living, and how to get that to work is to be an example of the healthy ways of living in such ways that the other one, the more stupid one, the human, can observe by oneself. Oh, now the fish is doing that thing, and that thing seems really motivating. It must be done in a way that looks motivating for the human, and it must be done in an understandable way. So the fish does not only live in its natural way, but kind of communicates a version of the natural life that is easy enough for the human being, kind of that has so similar same features as the human's own way of living has, that those features make it possible to copy those things to the human's way of living. And so from the ordinary daily life, from the ordinary style of the human in doing anything, the animal has to find the right way of living. And that's why, at least I think that's the reason why birds sing beautifully and insects fly beautifully, butterflies flies on the meadow, and all kinds of animals seem full of life and vigor. So that's kind of motivating, an example of good ways to do things. And so people who take a look at their ways and copy from them, like we naturally copy from what is good and makes us happy and successful. So those people get healthy and more happy and more intelligent and more successful in their lives. And those who try to do everything in the indoors ways, like with only the square walls to look at, those people kind of end up in errors much more in questions of life, because the square walls do not have any of the rhythm of life. There's no adaptation of anything to any situation, but all is unreactive, kind of lacking the multiple purposes, multiple reactions of life. So the walls do not develop one's intelligence at all, while the nature environment, which all the time, all the trees and plants, they are reactive, and all the animals, they are full of life. So all those things are so reactive and so well working that they all the time train one to react wisely and in lively ways. That means in well working ways, in many ways at the same time. So this is what animals teach us, and I just came to think of it while watching that dream of a fish.